What is going on, everyone? Today we're going to be installing the intake horn and grid heater delete from Spelab on this 16 Ram 3500. So we have pretty much everything here. Here's the intake horn, and then here's our grid heater plate, and then it does bring some hardware and extra harnesses for extensions, because this does work for deleted and non-deleted trucks. Pretty simple here. All we need is sockets, some electric tools, and an extension. So first, I'm actually going to start off by taking off the intake horn, and then we'll get to the grid heater plate. But this is just 10 mils right here, and then a 7/16 for the boot. Okay, now that we got that off, you're gonna wanna get yourself a 3/4 open end and start taking out the fuel lines one by one. Okay, so unfortunately my camera died while I was doing the grid heater plate, but pretty much all we did was take off all the fuel lines, and then you can separate this from the grid heater plate, and this can actually stay in the truck. Just slide the plate out, stick the new one in, which is gonna be this one that does not have the grid heater in it. All you need to do is add these spacers on the fuel rail, and then there is an extension for the intake air temp sensor. Then you have your number 1 fuel line replacement, which we're gonna put in before we put the intake horn on. I already learned that the hard way. So now we can install the intake horn. Okay, so before you put it in the truck, if you do have an EGR delete, you're gonna wanna put that plate on, and also the throttle body spacer with its gasket. Plug any of these holes up unless you are not using them. Put your airflow sensor back in, and these 2 plugs up here. And then for now, we leave the grid heater open because we do have a bolt down there that we need to put on. You're gonna wanna take your heater coil and stick it right in here. For that heater coil, you're gonna use a 1 1/16. And just like that, we've done the Spelab intake horn and grid heater relocation. Super easy install. Like I said, we have a new grid heater here, which takes out the bolt that you have down there. You take out the actual heater itself, and it is completely open, so you get more air inside of your engine. That way you can create more power. And like I said, we did change that number 1 fuel line. Make sure you tighten it before you put this back on. That way you don't have any issues. Thank you guys for watching, and use code MONEY15 on any part of the store so that you can get 15% off.